busy with Venn diagrams and tree diagrams. The tree diagrams with the homework sums. You had exercise 6, first was number D. It was about a box of Smarties, and there were 8 blue Smarties and 6 red Smarties. Then a Smartie is taken from the box at random and eaten, and then another Smartie is taken from the box at random and eaten as well. Use a tree diagram to determine probability of getting 2 red Smarties or getting 2 of the same, or whatever the situation is. The tree diagram is about, you either have a choice of, how many Smarties were there? There were red ones and there were blue ones. They said 8 blue, 6 red. So generally, you'd say 8 blue, 6 red. And that is incorrect if you don't put it on 14, because there were 14 Smarties in the box. Now, what is this outcome? This is the first Smartie that you're eating. You either have a choice of blue and red, and the choices are 8 out of 14 and 6 out of 14. Then you have a second Smartie to choose from. It's still going to be blue and red, and it's still going to be blue and red. But now, the story about the last lesson that we had was replacement and not replacement. We took the balls, we took a ball out and put it back, because then it doesn't change anything. Now I didn't put anything back because it's eaten. Yeah. So now if I took a blue one, how many are still left? There's only 13 in total left. And of the blue ones, there's 7. But definitely everything is out of 13. Doesn't matter where you go, everything's out of 13 because one has been eaten. This is the second Smartie that you take and you eat. Right? But the probability of taking a blue one then is only 7. Nobody says that you did eat a blue one, but if it was a blue one, then there's only 7 left. How many red ones are left? Still 6, because you didn't eat one. In this scenario, if the first one was red, then you took one of the 6 and now there's 5 red ones left. You didn't take a blue one, so there's still 8 left, and always has to add up to 14 out of 14. Has to add up to 13 out of 13 and 13 out of 13. And don't forget, for the complete mark, your outcomes will be blue, 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 red. Red, blue, red, red. And now you've got to complete how many marks? About 3. Okay, seems like a lot of work. It's not, because it's just basic things that you're doing. And that's all the outcomes that you'll have for the Smarties. But the question was, draw the tree diagram to find out what's the probability that you will have 2 red Smarties eaten. So what do I write here? Red and red. Are you with me? But this is the story about not replacing. Whether it was balls or whether it was cards or whether it was whatever, you don't replace it because you can't, because you've eaten it up. It's done. So it wasn't replaced. You don't look at the Smartie and say, no, I'll put it back. You eat them all up. Okay? So for red and red then, it will mean you go onto your graph, on your tree diagram, and you'll go for this one. There's the red, red. What do you do with 6 over 14 and 5 over 13? You multiply them. Could you have done this without the tree diagram? Yes, you could, but you have to think carefully. If the first one that I take is 6 out of 14 chance, that means for the second possibility of also being red, 1 is gone, so there's only 5 left. And it's not 14 anymore, it's 13. So you could have done it. Once you get the hang of this, you can do it without the tree diagram. But if the question says, show the tree diagram, then give me the answers you have to show it. If the sum just said, find the probability, and you didn't want to use the tree diagram, that's up to you. Normally, personally, it makes more sense when you've got this tree diagram in front of you to get the answer. Can somebody give me an answer, please?
0.16.
Okay, so what was the answer in fraction form?
15 over 91.
Okay, normally we leave it in normal fractions if it's normal fractions. the matric paper that I'm marking at the moment, and I'm going to give you a handout on this prelim exam for grade 12s now. Their little bit of probability had this in as well. And at the top it says, candidates may write this in decimals, in fractions, and in percentages. All of it, like I told you. But normally, my idea of it is, once you're busy with normal fractions, keep it in normal fractions. But if you wrote that in a decimal, you are 100% correct. Okay, the second piece is, what is the probability of two of the same color that are eaten? Two of the same color. So what's the probabilities? What can happen? You can either have a red and red, or, and very important, I'm always emphasizing this. Do you get a mark for writing that? No. So if you just knew two different ones is this one and this one, and you go. In other words, you get here. It's 8 over 14 times 6 over 30. Oopsie, no, wait. The same color. Sorry, I'm doing different ones. Two of the same color. Did I read it correctly?
Orange.
Yes. Two ones? Okay, so it's this one and this one. Okay. So this one would have been 6 over 14 times with 5 over 13. All means plus them. And then this blue one is going to be 8 out of 14, 7 over 13. And could you have done that again without the tree diagram? You just got to think carefully about it and know what you're doing. You can do it without it. And the more you practice, the more you'll get it right. But still, I think that the tree diagram helps a lot. And an answer, please.
191.
Again, in any various ways of writing it. Okay. What would be the probability of, that was not the question, I'm adding it. Probability of having two different ones. So that would be the ORB, BR1, right?
Yes.
But what am I saying here? Because if this is the probability of having two of the same, then not the same has to be the rest of getting it added to. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Would you get perfect marks by doing B and R and B like you did there, and you'll still get to your answer of, I think it's 48 over 91?
Yes.
Perfect. But are you gathering this? Chances of raining is 10%. What's the chances of not raining?
90.
How do you get that? It adds up to 100. This is the same. They are complementary events. Having the same, two of the same, or having two of not the same. That's all that can happen. Either they're two the same or they're two not the same. So those two add up to 100% or 1 if you're looking at fractions. Sorry, I didn't say it was exercise 6 on page 361. We've done E now, and this is G. Number G said, calculators are manufactured in a factory. There are two machines, A and B, that are used to make these calculators. 40% of the calculators are produced by machine A. So in other words, what is produced by machine B?
6.
Are you with me? And then they say 5% of all the calculators produced by machine A are faulty. So how many are not? Okay? And 10% of the calculators, so this guy has got a system, he's got his data, he's seen by now, that if they're made by machine B, there's 10% of them that are faulty. Question, what percentage of the calculators are faulty? Can you think in your mind's eye, this question did not say, draw a tree diagram, okay? But can you see that it absolutely helps you? So now, what are the tree diagram branches? Do I go A and faulty?
No.
Definitely not, because this is going to be one event.
Yeah.
What events are there? The machine against whether it's faulty or not. Because this is the main thing I've got to teach you to figure out. Because you start doing things like this, then you're on the wrong bandwagon, okay? So first of all, the first event is, when you start producing, you're going to either use machine A or machine B. Okay, so like the first Smarty eaten, The first choice is which machine did you use. Depending on the machine, there's going to be what event? Faulty or not faulty. And the same with B. Faulty or not faulty. Now this is about the effective or faults or mistakes or discarded or whatever you'd like to write over there. And then don't forget to write the outcomes here. That's still going to be A, F, A, not, B, F, B, not. And if you do that for me, you're getting 0 marks. Where's the probabilities? Are you with me? So, machine A. What's the story? They told me, what's 14? What's 14? All the calculators that we make at our factory. Some of them come from A, some of them come from B, and they said 40% of all these calculators were made by A, meaning 60% had to have been made by B. They didn't say that, you've got to know that because it has to add up to 1. All the branches, all the time, has to add up to 100% or one of its fractions. Now, whether it's A or whether it's B, there's a probability of it being faulty or not.
Yeah.
Probability of being faulty with A is 5%. Where the probability of having being faulty here is 10%. Never said anything, but you got to know that this then is 95. And this is, and then you'll get your 3 marks. It's just basically about 3 marks. What was the question? What is the probability of having a faulty calculator? Can you just give me the answer? How? Where's the faulty ones? There's the faulty ones. Depending on the machine that they were made with. So for this one, you'll say 40% times with 5%. And then what do I do with branches that I've timed? Add them. Where's the other faulty ones? So 60% times. Are you following here? And if you just wrote that, nothing there, perfect. I just need the answer. Are you with me? You don't always have to write down exactly. So that would mean that it's either with A and it's faulty, or it's with machine B and it's faulty. So that the and the or part, the times and the plus, that I keep emphasizing, you can see it as well. But you don't have to write that, as long as you know how it works. And then I've got an answer of? 0. Give me the fraction first, please.
2 over 25.
2 over?
25.
25. Now that would be a perfect answer, because remember they said in the matric paper, any which way that you write it, but this question said, calculate for me the percentage. What percentage of calculators are faulty? Did I answer the question?
No.
This time they're asking for it in percentage. So if you did go and do the decimals, that would be right, but that's not still percentage. Happy now? 8% of all the calculators that they manufacture at this factory are bound to be defective, faulty, whatever you'd like to say. Are you with me? There's a silly mark to throw away. Listen to the question. Have your highlighter pen there. If the question says what percentage, highlight it for yourself, and when you finish and you say 2 over 25 and check that, you'll say, oh, wait, they asked for percentage. Don't forget, I've got to go there. All right, you are going to do for me for homework, still exercise 6 on page 361. You are going to do for me number C and number I. All right, for homework, please.